The Marvel Comics universe, as we know it, has been around for a little over 60 years. Really, Fantastic Four #1, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, literally at their apex of creation. Maybe the best thing they ever did together. It's that or Thor. It's really close. Fantastic stuff, and one of the truly great villains to ever come out of that is Galactus. What a wonderful creation. How only a mind as great as Jack Kirby could come up with something like a Galactus, the World Eater, the World Devourer. While he's doing bad things, he's keeping balance within the universe and stuff like that. Truly a great adversary. Just a character like you just can't beat, right? When Galactus shows up, you know things have hit the fan, and the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, or whoever are in his way are truly in trouble. That hasn't really been the case lately. And recently, when I say recently, I mean like within the last 24, 48 hours, Marvel Comics released Fantastic 45, and it will change everything you ever knew about Galactus moving forward, because we had Reckoning War from Dan Slott, the renowned Amazing Spider-Man creator. I think people were happy to see him go, but Marvel Comics still thinks that Dan Slott is a big name within comic books. They put him on the Iron Man series. That thing it blew donkey dicks. There's no other way to put it. His Fantastic Four run has certainly been much better, but I think a lot of people just signed off of Dan Slott. They don't really trust him anymore. They gave him Reckoning War, this big event. That's probably not the word for it. This event that was supposed to be big, that he'd been building up to for, he says a decade or something like that. Maybe it was 15 years. Something ridiculous. Something you just don't believe it when the author says it. And you're like, nah, you're kind of full of it right there. I don't believe a word you just said, sir. So Reckoning War came out, and we had some big revelations, but no one knows about it because no one read it, for the most part. I think there are some people that are Fantastic Four completionists. They bought the comic book, they put it in some cellophane, and they put it in their collection and just bypassed it because it said Dan Slott on it, and you can't blame them for that. At the conclusion of Reckoning War, Galactus has been reborn into something new in Fantastic Four 45 by Marvel Comics. The Devourer of Worlds transforms into his old form, splitting up from the Destroyer. However, instead of returning to hunger on planets, Galactus has a new purpose in the universe, which takes him on an all-new mission that could redefine the cosmic being in the future. I understand a lot of these characters are old. I mean, Galactus is 60 years old. He's been a big foil within the Marvel Comics universe, specifically the cosmic portion of that, for a very long time. Been a part of some great stories, the Galactus trilogy, all that kind of stuff. Maybe they think the character's a little bit long in the tooth. Maybe he's not relevant for current Marvel Comics or something like that. So they want to do something new with the character. We saw what Donny Cates did, where essentially Galactus became the herald of, what was it, the Great Darkness, something like that. Something very generic. The Black Winter. I think that's what it was. And you're going, man, if Galactus was ever the subordinate or herald of another being, that being would be so damn powerful, because we know how powerful Galactus is, that literally no one would ever be able to stop him. So when you get to the end and like Thor powers up and stops him or whatever, you're like, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. But they don't know what to do with the character, and they've decided to take Galactus in a new direction. He's no longer going to be the Devourer of Worlds. You're not going to believe this. Before that, let's talk about what happened in Reckoning War, so we can set the table for what I'm about to tell you, and you can laugh with me on what Dan Slott has done with Galactus. In the Reckoning War event at Marvel Comics, Galactus transformed into an even more terrifying form after Silver Surfer bonded his former master with the Asgardian Destroyer armor. With the Reckoning on the verge of entering the apex of all reality and potentially causing irreversible harm to the multiverse, Silver Surfer and Earth's mightiest heroes realized Galactus was one of their only chances at stopping the destructive aliens, luring him with the ultimate nullifier. The fiery new form of the cosmic juggernaut reached the apex right as Reed Richards used the weapon to kill the Reckoning's leader. In the wake of the incredible power going off, Galactus has been reborn, getting a new beginning of sorts in the wake of the near death of the universe. We do not get to see the ultimate nullifier often enough, in my opinion, so it's good to see that they broke out some of the big guns. Reed Richards being a hero again. They don't even want to do that with the character anymore. Mr. Fantastic is more like Mr. Bleh. They don't do anything cool with Reed Richards, so it's cool that they did something, I guess. Dan Slott tried. He tried real hard. They should pin a ribbon on his chest for a participation award. Unfortunately, it was Dan Slott. It was Fantastic Four, and people just didn't stick around really for the long haul, and no one was looking forward to Reckoning War, so had to get that in there because I know most of you have no idea what actually happened in that event. So let's get to what happened with Galactus. You're not going to believe this, and it also has a weird rub on Silver Surfer as well. I think you guys are going to, if you don't love Galactus, you'll chuckle with me. If you really love Galactus, maybe you'll cry. In Fantastic Four 45, in the aftermath of Reed Richards using the ultimate nullifier, the hero is revealed to be alive, as firing the deadly weapon drew the Watcher energy out of it. After the heroes get thanked for saving the multiverse, and Uatu gains more powers after absorbing the knowledge of the Apex, he undoes the damage caused due to the Watcher's negligence, including fixing the barons of the universe. Then, in another massive change to the cosmos, Galactus is reborn as an all-new being with an all-new hunger. When Silver Surfer asks him if he hungers, he responds yes. But it's not planets he seeks to destroy. Instead, the Devourer of Worlds requires knowledge. There's a lot of things that you could have done with Galactus that would have made the character more interesting or maybe a bigger threat. Making him the Devourer of Knowledge probably isn't one of them. Apparently, he just wants to read books. I guess there's like a new quarter of the Marvel Comics universe. I think it's called the Baron. And there's a bunch of knowledge, so he's going to go out there and eat it and get real book smart. And that is what Dan Slott came up with to do with Galactus, one of the best villains in comic book history. One of the most important creations of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in the history of Marvel Comics. And this is when they decided that he's the Devourer of Knowledge. That man will chew through a book in half a second. You know what I mean? I don't understand what the idea is to make him the Devourer of books. But hey, we got a new Galactus. And that's what's important, right? Dan Slott got to put his fingerprint on Galactus and change one of the great creations from perhaps the greatest mind in comic book history. When you think about all the stuff that Jack Kirby did, not only as an artist, but as a writer, and, you know, he got co-credited really before any other artist really in the industry. Like, he demanded it, and they knew he did so much stuff within the Marvel Universe that they had to give it to him. And to go and take one of his creations and, quite frankly, take a big dump on it, like in the pages of Fantastic Four, doesn't really set right with me. I definitely want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this new Galactus that's been reborn as being the Devourer of Knowledge instead of the Devourer of Worlds? Doesn't exactly strike me as an enormous villain. Obviously, they will go back on whatever this is because they're going to realize it was a mistake. People are going to tell Marvel to go F off, and they'll go, you know what? He's the Devourer of Worlds again, and they'll have to undo it. But for the time being, Dan Slott got to pop a squat on Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. I don't really like that, but there's more. And this is probably funnier. Yeah, it is funnier when I think about it. Let's see the other big reveal regarding the relationship between Galactus and Silver Surfer. The Silver Surfer agrees to guide Galactus's new mission, but under his terms, not as a herald, but as his companion. Ultimately, Galactus and Silver Surfer head off together to explore the universe. So Galactus asked Silver Surfer, will you be my herald of knowledge? Will you go out and tell people, I'm coming to read your books. I'm coming to feast on your knowledge. And Silver Surfer says, no, I can't do that. But what I can do is be your hetero life partner. You and I will patrol the galaxy hand in hand, devouring knowledge left and right, and I will never be your herald again. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, Dan Slott can make this stuff up, and CB Cebulski can approve it. But a normal person, even like really bad fanfic, isn't this bad. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's some fanfic about Galactus that takes him in a totally new direction. Maybe takes some of the sting, maybe some of the bite off of the villain. You know, because he is a very dangerous character, and we can't have real good villains in Marvel anymore. They've kind of bastardized all of them. But to make him the Devourer of Knowledge and to have Silver Surfer be his life partner, that was a choice. That's all you can say about that. Dan Slott in Marvel Comics, a match made in hell. Don't know how he's still around. Obviously, he's going to be moving on to adjectiveless Spider-Man. I believe we're going to get some Fantastic Four work from David Pepose. Maybe it's just like a tie-in to an event or something like that. Not sure who's going to take over the series, but hopefully they'll undo this soonest because I don't think this even has potential. A lot of times I can see an idea and I can be like, I don't really like it, but I can kind of see what they're going for there. I can see how it could work. On this one, I'm going, no, I don't see how this one works at all. It's just kind of stupid. It's a Dan Slott idea. There's a lot to dislike about Dan Slott that goes far beyond his actual comic book writing. He's just not a good guy. If you know who Jimmy is, Jimmy from Comics Quirks, I think he's doing some other type of vlogs now. He's not really doing comic book content. Super nice guy. One of the nicest guys I've ever met. Really love having him on the channel. Hopefully he'll come back sometime soon. But Dan Slott went out there and actually bullied like one of the nicest people I've ever met. Jimmy, I'm not going to call him harmless, but he's super sweet. He wasn't being rude. And Dan Slott just treated him like crap. If you want to see who Dan Slott really is, check out this video because this was bullcrap.